Okay, you guys, we are back with another video. In this video, we're going to talk about Melania Trump. She's erupting. She's demanding that ABC fire Jimmy Kimmel over some unsavory jokes that he made about her becoming a widower and being connected to Jeffrey Epstein. As you guys know by now, Melania Trump and Donald Trump, we have seen them hanging out a lot with Jeffrey Epstein based on photos and videos that we've seen. Now, following the release of the Epstein file, Donald Trump's name was mentioned a lot. However, Melania fired off a few weeks ago saying that they were never friends. They were just invited to the same social circle. She has never been to Epstein Island and they were never close. She has no idea about Jeffrey Epstein's handling. So you know that is something that she's hella sensitive about. Now that Jimmy Kimmel has made the joke about Melania becoming a widower and Melania being connected to Jeffrey Epstein, she is firing off and she is saying that Jimmy Kimmel's behavior, it's violent and it causes division. And I'm confused because I want to know what part she's upset about, the part that Jimmy Kimmel said she's going to become a widower, or the part where she is being mentioned in the same sentence as Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know what part she is upset about, but honestly, I don't know. And also, for her to label Jimmy Kimmel as a violent person that is spreading division and causing division, and you're married to Trump? I don't know how she has the gall to make such statements about violence and division. Honey, your husband has been waking up war as though he's collecting coins from them, like it's a temple run game, like Candy Crush Saga. How do you even have the gall to call someone else violent and causing segregation? like make it make sense. But anywho, I want you guys to have a better understanding of what Jimmy Kimmel said. So let's take a look at that clip together, shall we? And when we get back, we're going to talk about Melania Trump's response.
I do want to praise the POTUS. Look how far you've come. 30 years ago, you were just some rich guy on Jeffrey Epstein's private jet out of Teterboro, but you worked hard, you stayed friends, you shared some wonderful secrets, and because of that, you were able to fly on that plane 7 more times. Dreams really do come true. Am I right, Dog the Bounty Hunter? That's right. We miss you so much. And of course, our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow. I do want to praise the POTUS.
So that was Jimmy Kimmel's joke. Definitely unsavory. Definitely not funny. And Melania went off on Jimmy Kimmel. She says, Kimmel's hateful and violent rhetoric is intended to divide our country. His monologue about my family isn't comedy. His words are corrosive and deepens the political sickness within America. People like Kimmel shouldn't have the opportunity to enter our homes each evening to spread hate. A coward, Kimmel hides behind ABC because he knows the network will keep running cover to protect him. Enough is enough. It is time for ABC to take a stand. How many times will ABC leadership enable Kimmel? Now guys, that's the end of Melania's statement, but I don't know. I find Melania's statement to be somewhat of a double standards because as I've said, Jimmy Kimmel's joke was definitely not funny. You know, saying that someone is going to be a widow. We understand the joke is originating from the many assassination attempts on Donald Trump's life, right? And we know that there are a lot of predictions out there about them taking out Trump and all of that jazz. However, I think there should be some limitations to how far you're willing to go to wish death on someone. Trump has done a lot of horrible stuff, said a lot of horrible stuff, because most recently he was threatening to allegedly release nuclear weapons to wipe out Iran. So when she talks about hate and segregation, it is double standards because her husband has caused a lot of hate, a lot of segregation, and his words have spread a lot of hate and a lot of segregation. And even now, he's saying that he's gonna take over Cuba. He might liberate the people, or he may take the island because it's a beautiful one and it doesn't get hurricane. And remind you, Cuba is in the Caribbean, and all the Caribbean islands are prone to hurricanes. So Trump was speaking just out his ass arrogantly because he has the power and he's on an ego trip. So how is it okay for Trump to just say anything out of his ass, but it's not okay for another person to do so because they don't have the title of president? I find that to be very much of a double standards. But I think what truly triggered Melania is the fact that Jeffrey Epstein's name was mentioned. I don't think that she was even bothered about the part where Jimmy Kimmel said she is looking like a glowing widower. Do you notice? Like, did she say you're wishing death? She said hateful comments, but the hate part could also be about the Jeffrey Epstein statement because she seems to be easily triggered when her name is mentioned with Jeffrey Epstein, when Trump's name is mentioned with Jeffrey Epstein. But I want to hear from you guys because while I do agree that what Jimmy Kimmel said was not funny, right? At the same time, pointing fingers at Jimmy Kimmel about causing hate and division when no one has been greater at that than your husband, it's really sad. It is very sad. Now, you guys also know that I've always said there are things that Trump did and has done that I'm 100% down for. Taking men, biological men, out of women's sports, down for that. Putting an end to kids getting gender reassignment surgery, all praises on that one. But while he has done amazing things, he has done horrible things too. He's there spending billions on a war while taking away necessary care and things that are needed for kids because he's like, oh, we don't have money to fund daycare, but you have billions to fight a war on a daily basis when it costs less to fund daycare. So the thing is that while she's pointing fingers at Jimmy Kimmel, there's a big finger coming back at her saying, what about you and your family? What about the segregation, the hate, the separation that you and your family has bestowed on the American people? There should never be double standards. Why should Jimmy Kimmel be fired? Why couldn't it be that you take a stand against what Jimmy Kimmel is saying, but why should Jimmy Kimmel be fired because you're offended? Is your husband fired because he has offended millions of people and he still has his job? If your husband is entitled to keep his job, Jimmy Kimmel is deserving of the same entitlement. He's only human just like your husband at the end of the day, and he's a comedian, and it's known for a comedian to ruffle feathers. Your husband is a politician and they should be fixing problem. Occasionally ruffling feathers, but your husband has been putting himself into territories that he should not even be involved in. So, what's the reason for the double standards? What's the reason for the hypocrisy? I want to hear from you guys because while I understand what Melania is saying, I also have drawbacks with her statement. But leave a comment below, guys, so we can talk some more in the comment section. Peace.